What's the beauty?
Oh, bang, he gets nailed by Takiri. Lovely rugby there from Pereira.
What a tremendous effort.
He'll just put his head down. Over he goes. Hello everybody and welcome here to the Hong Kong Football Club in the heart of Hong Kong on a very hot day for day 2 of the first leg of the 2018 Asia Rugby 7 Series. And what a cracking day we had yesterday. 16 matches to get us underway across the men's and the women's side of the draw. Today ahead of us 24 matches to decide who are the kings and queens of leg 1. We're going to be kicking off this morning. Women's side of the draw, it's the ladies from China. Very impressive yesterday, thrashing Singapore and then also beating Kazakhstan narrowly. They're up against the Sri Lankans, who went down heavily to Kazakhstan. And then they had a win against Singapore. Let's have a look at what happened in the groups yesterday. So there we are, Japan, the queens really of Asian rugby, full 6 points there. A couple of big wins to them. Thailand pulling off, didn't quite beat Hong Kong as they did in the Asian Games, but they just got a marginal ladder position over the top of Hong Kong. So important games today for Thailand and Hong Kong. And in Pool D, China 2 from 2 and Kazakhstan, they both looked very impressive indeed. China bringing with them a whole load of new players, with the first team preparing for their entry onto the World Series. Sri Lanka and Singapore battling it out in the bottom half of the draw there. We saw some very good football yesterday indeed. Time to bring in my co-commentator, the one, the only, the omnipresent Jeremy Tharn.
Good morning, and good morning viewers here in Asia and right around the world. What a pleasure it is to be here today. And it is literally the calm before the storm.
The storm or a storm?
Well, a storm. A storm for another day perhaps.
Yeah.
But the air out there today is stifling.
Wouldn't believe it, 30 degrees we've heard. Hotter than yesterday perhaps, and not a cloud in the sky. We're literally 24 hours away from Typhoon Mangkut. There's the Sri Lankan men's team just steady themselves, bursting out onto the field. Come the combatants, China and Sri Lanka. China with the big wins yesterday.
Well, they were impressive yesterday, and there is a number of players in the Chinese side that are being used for their very first occasion. There's also a few in there that are on the fringe of making this World Series squad. One pushing very hard at number 4 yesterday, Yao Gu.
Yep, she's second on the points, on the standings for points, 20 points, 2 tries, 5 conversions yesterday. There's Liang Lao Wei from Singapore, our referee. Gu is trailing the master Nakamura. 5 tries yesterday, 4 in her opening game. She's brought the A game this weekend, the Asia Games gold medalist. So China here, Asia Games silver medalists with everything to prove, with a second string team who look very capable indeed. And straight away they let that one hit the turf. Sri Lankans, one heavy defeat yesterday. They pulled off a win against Singapore. Got their campaign underway, scored 3 tries against Singapore. Here come China now, looking a little bit shaky first thing in the morning. 10 o'clock here, local time. Sri Lanka earn a penalty. They go quick. They're right on the try line there. And getting up and going again, illegally, says referee, but she was playing advantage and got back to 10. Here's Dulani in 5. We saw her just the once yesterday get the legs going. One of the speedsters in the side. Fantastic for Sri Lanka here to open up with some first blood. There was a 2-on-1 there, cutting back inside. Goes Kumari. do Rugby, and I'm afraid they're blowing that. They're blowing a two-man overlap, and here come China. Tap and go, and look at the pace. Look out, there's another tackler coming. She's not going to make it. She looks over. Does Yang Feifei, and that's great defence tracking back from Thikshana. And just hanging on for grim life. That's brilliant. All the Sri Lankans are still coming back. 3 of them are still not behind the ball, so they were not so optimistic. And all the Chinese players were there. And they've started the day with a full length of the field effort there. That's Shen Ying, first try of the tournament.
Started off with absolute shambles for China. Then from the kick-off, the ball goes up into the sun. That's the deck. Next thing you know, Sri Lanka's climbing all over them. It's taken them 2 minutes basically to wake up. And when they did, they found themselves under the sticks at the other end. Poor old Sri Lanka. What are you going to do? And a great chance here. The line was open. 2 on the outside. But then China swept down range. Take full advantage of it. There's a converted try at 7-0.
Joining us on Facebook, good morning. Spread the word, tell your friends. Give them the link. 24 games ahead of us today. This first leg of the 2018 edition of the Asia Rugby 7 series. There we see Sri Lanka just not competing at all at the restart there. It was a free challenge there. Didn't even have to get off the ground. Ruan, she's a huge woman anyway, but...
Well, I'm just a bit concerned here for China. They might be suffering from a time zone difference.
Where have they come from?
I'm not entirely sure. They're still getting here by the looks of things. They might be on the bus, some of these girls. It's clearly pretty early in the morning for them.
Sri Lanka now with a quick heel. Grabbing across sideways. Here's Dulani. She can't get past this very well organised defence. Defence is too good. Holding on, says referee. Now comes Shen again. Into the 22 they go. They're hungry. This is Su. Su gets on the outside of Dulani almost. Good defence. Good scrambling defence. They get another penalty in from the side. Tap and go. Goes Wang. Man, they won't stop her from that distance. No chance at all. Here's try number 2. And good start from the Chinese.
Well, slowly but surely coming together for China. And choosing to take a very direct route at Sri Lanka. That's their only major disadvantage for Sri Lanka. Physically, the Chinese have got them well and truly numbered. Conversion would be called wide.
Wide.
12-0. China leading Sri Lanka. And Shen Ying looking like, well, possible talent for the future as well for China.
That one's gone about 9.5 metres. That's loose. Yeah, tidy work there from Sri Lanka.
Well, they maintain their curve, China, don't they? They look like they're on a head-on collision with Japan.
Here they come. Very deep, very wide, as is typical of this Chinese back line. Wang, the try scorer, gets the arms free, scoops in and picks that one up. Fires one off to Wang Ran and 10 there. again, they're very wide. They've got players right across the other touch line, and they've got the skills to get it there. Here's Ruan. Tries to shrug off Thanuja. Good tackle, though. They are stretching these Sri Lankans beyond belief. One of the few teams, the Chinese, that can just get the ball across the pitch in 3 or 4 passes. This is Wu Jianhong. And to their credit, the Sri Lankans are still coming up with pace. Wang Ran just clatters into 2 or 3 of them. Gets penalised for holding on. So tip of the cap to the Sri Lankan defence. They were absolutely stretched there 3 or 4 times. They kept their shape and ended up winning the penalty.
Well, you're right about one thing. The passing from the Chinese is standout, isn't it? They really do know how to move the ball across the park. And undoubtedly Chad Shepherd will be putting his hand up for that one. Skills Development Meister.
Hooter is gone.
It's a shame. Oh, just for the first half.
No rush to get this in. That looked very low underarm pass there, and this time holding on the Sri Lankans there. So good defence at the line out. Here comes Yang Feifei. Coming out the line like a bullet. There's Dulani. Temporarily slows the Chinese down. Goes Yang Feifei. We saw China yesterday in both games. Not interested after the final hooter, just kicking the ball out. Here they are, deep into post-hooter time, and still they're battling on. The game is not won yet, of course. Trying to get on the outside of Shen. The Sri Lankan tackling is very good at the moment. They're sticking on tackles. And then Sue, finally, she comes steaming on the inside ball there. They do get their 3rd try about a minute after the hooter, so good enterprise. Sri Lanka running out of defenders.
Yeah, good on Sri Lanka. They've shown some courage there. It was slowly but surely coming apart for them. Good, desperate scrambling defence and making China have to work for it, and potentially could be precious hard-earned yards that China will have to find at the end of the day if they go right to the end of the tournament. See Sri Lanka making them work hard.
There we go. So conversions away and just running out of players really. There's some of that tackling. Just slipping off one there. Half time 17-0. A slow start by China, but working their way into it now.
Cup and string on the way.
A lot of interest in the Volcanoes yesterday after their 2 wins. Had a great day. Some people asking when their next game is. They're on at 12-12 against Hong Kong. Be a big test for them. 1 hour from now.
Well, they survived a big test yesterday, didn't they? Right at the death. The Philippines with Malaysia getting 2 on them early on, and then looked pretty much like they had them covered, but slowly but surely the Volcanoes scratched and clawed and got themselves back to the action, and then ended up dominating.
Yep, and they beat South Korea as well. And the hero of the day was Mr. Howell, scoring 2 blazing tries, 1 in each of those games, really to seal it. Now, be able to see where they are today when they meet the Asia Games gold medalist Hong Kong, who were ruthless yesterday, scoring 50 plus in each of their games. Scrum here as we start the second half of this opening match today. China being held at bay there. It's a fairly big front row for Sri Lanka. Big enough to hold back this impressive Chinese front row. But going early, that was the tactic. The referee was onto it.
Interesting penalty, this one. Square, is that what I was looking at? Interesting decision. China, well, they close the deal out pretty smartly there, don't they? Heavens above. Just how simple it can be. What's the effort from Chinese number 7? Neil. Good turn of pace, getting herself up and through the gap. Give it a try for China. 24 points to them. Inside 5 minutes, China with the restart. Sun, you'd think they'd be using the sun on the kickoff just a little bit. Sri Lanka though, ball in hand.
24-0 all of a sudden.
China taking a good look at, they've got 2 out line. Unfortunately, they couldn't find them. Here's a go. Running on very strongly indeed.
Big Jang.
My word, she's a stable looking unit. And they go, well, that was just a matter of time.
That's an in-out swerve, isn't it?
Poor old Sri Lanka. They've had to throw down some hard yards on defence. And China now starting to exploit them pretty easily.
That reminds me of Shane Philpott, 1989. The All Blacks against Cardiff. Poor old Shane Philpott. A despised All Black.
Oh, thank you, Greg and Paul.
But he did. Have a look at this in-out swerve here. Well, it's just a step really. It's an out in. It's an outie innie. It's not a Philpott at all. Look at that, 29-0. Building.
Yeah, I have a few memories of Cardiff that may not necessarily be true as well.
And the Philly.
Well, the return of Gu as a prospect for China. Another standout performance from yesterday, and straight on the money, straight away.
That's amazing. She can do that every time. Here she is, number 4, full of beans.
Good work there from number 11. Wang turning up just in the nick of time. Gu arrives on the paddock, and no sooner does she chime in and China take another 5-pointer, likely to be 7, courtesy of that girl there, Wang.
Looking very much like a Japan-China Cup final, isn't it, at this stage? I mean, Kazakhstan are still floating around. They'll probably face Japan in the one of the semis. And who will China face? One of Thailand and Hong Kong, probably. And that's just good lines, isn't it?
It is. In the end, it's taken China a little bit of time to tune up to where Sri Lanka's at. They were in danger in the opening few minutes to play. I don't mean this in any sort of negative way, but they were almost about to play down to the Sri Lankan level. The prospect, they're always going to be a dangerous prospect, I think, Sri Lanka, for a team like China, simply because of their free running ability.
2 minutes left, or 1.5. It's a big one. Sri Lanka lost by this score yesterday to Kazakhstan, 36-0.
Sri Lanka crouch by set. Okay. Crouch by set.
Good shove from China. They do enough though. Dulani decides to kick and chase. Forces the error. They're into the Chinese half now. Looking to get off that 0. Change in tactics. Dulani maybe wanted that to go a bit deeper, but good vision from her and trying something different. We know she's certainly got the speed to get after a kick like that. Electrifying. On comes a front row replacement, Thanuja. Here she is. She's also a very impressive player for Sri Lanka. Big, strong, fast, super aggressive in defence. Sri Lanka have one straight behind the scrum. Dulani comes open and looking outside her was Anusha, and she sees that no one's there. Gets bottled by Wang. Close in on the hooter now. They've got to go 50, 60 metres to get off the donut. China won't be allowing that too easily. They'll be sharpening up their defence for later on today. Yet another penalty. Here she goes. Thanuja. That's good hard running with the head down. Stolen though too easily by Liu. China here, we might just see them kick it out as they did yesterday. They weren't really entertaining points after the hooter. Yep, and that's right. They've obviously got the instructions. Let's not faff about. And they're underway today, China, with an impressive, eventually impressive 36-0 drubbing of the Sri Lankans. So we're underway here on day 2 with 23 more games ahead. And we're going to stand by now with the ladies still. Kazakhstan versus Singapore.